Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Busola. I am a medical doctor practicing in Lagos, Nigeria. I make lifestyle medicine and career videos. If you've not yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and check out all my other videos. I am sure that you will find a lot of them really helpful and interesting. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my 1-year PLAB journey or my 2-year post-medical school PLAB pathway. This is a very highly requested video that a lot of people ask me about, especially on Twitter. I posted about passing PLAB 2 on Twitter and I got so many DMs about how I could do it that fast in the space of 1 year. So the 2 PLAB exams were in the space of 1 year and I was done with the 2 PLAB exams 2 years after medical school. So that's what I'm going to be discussing in this video, giving you guys an in-depth timeline of my journey right from after medical school up until passing PLAB 2 and all of the things I did, all of the things that I had to put in place to make that happen. And I'm also going to be giving you guys some advice or some disclaimers at the end of the video, so please do well to watch till the end of the video. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump straight into it. First things first, what is the PLAB exam? The PLAB exam is the Professional and Linguistic Assessment Board tests or exams, which is a requirement for international medical graduates planning to practice medicine in the UK. So people who did not study in the UK and want to practice in the UK, this is a test that doctors who did not study in the UK and plan or desire to practice in the UK, this is a test or a series of tests that they are supposed to pass to qualify for a license to practice in the UK. They are done in 2 parts. The first PLAB exams, which is the PLAB 1 exam, and the second one, which is the PLAB 2 exam. The first PLAB exam can be written from your home country. For example, I wrote mine in Lagos. You can write in Ghana, wherever, Canada, wherever. You can write it in your home country because it is a remote exam. And then the second PLAB exam is written in Manchester, UK. They have 2 venues in Manchester, UK for the exam, so you can only write PLAB 2 in the UK in Manchester. PLAB 1 is a multiple choice exam. There are 180 questions. The cutoff mark is not steady per year, so it kind of changes per year based off of how many people passed or how many people got what score. So it is not particularly steady every single year, but you can kind of gauge. So usually it is around 130. I think for my own PLAB sets, I think the cutoff mark was 120. I'm going to check and put it on the screen, but the cutoff mark differs per sitting, okay, based off of how many people passed, how many people failed, what the majority of the people, what score majority of the applicants had, and whatnot. The PLAB 2 exam, on the other hand, is like an OSCE exam. So basically it is in person, which is why you have to write it in the UK. It is kind of a practical exam. If you are a medical student in Nigeria, it is similar to the OSCE. Basically, you have a simulator in the room, you have your examiner marking, and you as the test taker. So you basically discuss with your simulator, which is the simulated patient, get a diagnosis. Sometimes you are required to do examinations to perform your diagnosis, and you have to also discuss management with these patients. There are different stations. The station I just described, there's also the station that is called the Siemens station, which is like a simulated mannequin in an emergency scenario where you actually give medications, give interventions to help save your patient. There are scenarios where your patient could die, and if your patient or your simulated mannequin dies, then most of the time you probably failed that station. Then lastly, there's also the prescription aspect of this exam, where you have to fill a prescription sheet or discuss with a patient about a drug they are taking and prescribe medications to them. So it is quite an extensive exam, and this is usually the tricky part of the PLAB test. Basically, I think PLAB 1 is easier in my own opinion. You can study for PLAB 1 within a month, 2 weeks, and pass PLAB 1 well, okay, but PLAB 2 is the one where a lot of discipline, a lot of studying, a lot of practice needs to come into play because of how the exam is set up. What are the requirements for being able to write the PLAB exams? Number one, and the most important requirement, is that you have to have graduated from medical school. You have to have your medical school degree. Okay, that is very, very important. So as a medical student, you cannot write the PLAB 1 exam. Number two, you have to have passed your IELTS exam, and the cutoff for the IELTS exam is at least a 7.5 overall with no less than 7.0 in each of the four sections of the IELTS exam, IELTS or OET, whichever one that you would like to do, but I did IELTS, so I can speak more on that. The third requirement is that you have to have an international passport. If you don't have an international passport in the first place, you will not be able to write your IELTS exam. So those three things are very, very important. Those are the things that you are required to have to be able to sit for the PLAB 1 exam. So now, very quickly, let me go into my pathway, into my 2-year post-medical school pathway for writing and passing the PLAB exams and being qualified to practice in the UK. It doesn't have to be what you do, it doesn't have to be your own pathway, but this can serve as a guide or kind of like as a template for you if you are looking to also do that. I graduated medical school in October of 2021. I took a break. I took about 2.5 months break to just relax after the turmoil of medical school. I did not want to start anything immediately, so I took a break and I started my house job in December. I started a few days to Christmas actually. I started house job December 20 something of 2021. Then a few months later, about 4 months later, I wrote my IELTS exam in April of 2022. I did house job in Lasut, and if you guys know what how Lasut is and what house job is like in Lasut, you know that it's not a walk in the park. It was insane. Like, I did not have any time for myself. I actually initially planned to write my IELTS in January, guys, and I could not do it until April because house job slapped me in the face. Okay, house job was extremely stressful, but at some point I just had to sit up and tell myself, like, look, I have to be able to have something to show for house job year. I don't just want to finish house job and not have one thing to show, like, okay, this is another thing I did apart from stressing out in house job. So I did my IELTS in April of 2022. Results came out in May of 2022 and I passed, and so I was able to then book for a space for PLAB 1 exam. Because of the way things are right now, and because there are a lot of applicants and a lot of people who are interested in writing the PLAB exam, the spaces are not a lot. Okay, so the wait time to book for exams, they are quite long, which is why it is important for you, if you are planning to practice in the UK and you want to start early, it is important for you to start thinking about it during house job and start doing something during house job so that that long wait time doesn't particularly affect you too seriously. Okay, so usually the average wait time from when you book your PLAB 1 exam to when you would write your PLAB 1 exam is over 9 months. Okay, you cannot see, usually you would not see a close date. So in June of 2022, I booked for my PLAB 1 exam, and the closest date I could find was in May of 2023. That is almost 1 year, guys. Almost 1 year wait time, which is why I decided to actually start early doing house job. So basically in June I booked my exam. It was May of the next year, so I could literally just rest in knowing that, okay, my exam is booked and I have an exam next year, and not particularly study or prepare towards it because I have done what is needed to be done, and then I can now focus on house job and try to survive doing house jobs. So I finished house job in December of 2022. I did not particularly start preparing for my PLAB during house job. Actually, I did not prepare at all. I did not read one thing for my PLAB exam during house job because I was very stressed, you guys. I was just fighting for my life. I finished house job in December. Thankfully, and I took the rest of December and some part of January to rest and relax and catch up with my friends and have fun and just unwind and distress. And then at the end of January, I started NYSC. I went to NYSC camp for a few days, and then it was after I came back from camp I started preparing for my PLAB 1 exam, which I had in May of 2023. And sometime in February I moved back to Lagos, started working in Lagos, doing my NYSC as well and studying for my PLAB 1 exams, which were in May. I wrote my PLAB 1 exam in May. After you write your PLAB 1 exam, it takes about 6 weeks, exactly 6 weeks actually, for your results to be released. My PLAB 1 result came out in July of 2023. I vlogged that whole thing. I'll link it here if you guys have not seen it, or you can just go to my channel and go and check it out. I passed PLAB 1 thankfully, and on the same day I booked for my PLAB 2 exam for December of 2023. So I had, give or take, about 5 months to prepare for my PLAB 2 exam. Mind you, during this time I was still doing NYSC, still doing my work at the same time. We started preparing for PLAB 2 exams from July, and basically that ran through July up until the exam in December. However, in October of 2023, me and my friends who were also writing the exams, we went for an academy, a PLAB 2 academy. I also spoke in depth, I vlogged in depth about this, okay? So go and check my channel out if you want to watch how that whole process was like. Also booked for our visa application in October, because remember I told you guys that the PLAB 2 exam is written in Manchester, so we had to apply for a UK visa so that we could go to the UK and write the exam. We did the visa appointment, and I think about 8 days after we went for biometrics, my visa came out exactly 8 days after, and I was given the visa. The first week in December, I traveled together with my 2 friends who were also writing the exam, and we traveled all the way to the UK to write our PLAB 2 exam. Our PLAB 2 exam was on the 13th of December 2023. Went to Manchester, wrote that whole thing. Again, there is a comprehensive vlog about this entire process, so please go ahead to my channel and go and check it out. We wrote the exam on the 13th of December 2023, and our results came out in less than 2 weeks, okay? Before Christmas, our results, I think on the 22nd of December, our results came out and we all passed, okay? So I passed, and I basically qualified to practice medicine in the UK December of 2023. So basically, give or take, that's like a 2-year post-medical school time frame from graduating from medical school and becoming licensed to practice in the UK. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That is my own timeline. Different people have different timelines, okay? So I'm now to the advice or the disclaimer part of this video. Number 1, you can do it faster. I've seen people who literally did it faster. I know someone who wrote their PLAB 1 exam during house job, while they were in house job. I know someone who wrote and passed their PLAB 1 exam during that time. I could not do it because, first of all, I know my own strengths, okay? And also it is very dependent on different things, where you are mentally, what kind of rotation you are doing during house job, which center you are doing your house job. Somewhere like Lasut, it would have taken the grace of God for me to have passed PLAB 1 while doing house job in Lasut. Lasut is not a walk in the park, it is insane. There were times that I was on call for days on end, okay? I have done 10 days back-to-back call before doing house job in Lasut. So that is not a condition where you want to be studying or practicing or doing whatever for exams. Just didn't seem feasible for me personally, but I know people who have done it. You need to know yourself and you need to gauge your situation to be able to embark on certain journeys. So just sit down and think about it well and map out a plan for yourself. Number 2 thing is that money is a huge determining factor, okay? The exam, I'm still going to make a video about the cost breakdown for this whole process. The state of things in Nigeria now is crazy. Doctors don't earn enough to be able to take this exam, especially if you're not sponsored by anybody. To be able to earn enough to take these exams this early on in your career would be very, very difficult, except you have someone, which thankfully I had a whole village of people literally that had my back during this process, that made the whole thing easy for me. If not for them, it wouldn't have been possible for me to actually get that done. Nigerian doctors are very, very brilliant. I'm sure that if majority of the Nigerian doctors, if they take these exams, they will definitely pass it, but money is what is really hindering a lot of people, so you also have to put that into consideration. Also, it is very important, or it helps to do this with a group of people. I had two friends, Maiwa and Ife, that we did these exams together. We planned together from the beginning. We wrote our PLAB 1 on the same day, and after we passed the PLAB 1 exam, we made a plan to be able to write our PLAB 2 exam on the same day. So we all traveled together and we wrote our PLAB exams on the same day, and it just really, really helped us. Everything we did together. We attended academy together, attended mocks together, planned for our visa application together. We did a lot of practices, a lot of calls, a lot of studying together. We practically went on this journey together. So if you have friends or people that you know who are doing this exact same thing, then you may want to team up with them, because it just helps. Life being a doctor and going to work every day, it can be quite overwhelming, that if you don't have people to remind you like, oh okay, let's study this, or ask you questions like what is this, to give you ginger to be able to study and practice, you may actually not study properly. Okay, it is not like medical school where the only thing you are doing is school and studying. Now you actually literally have a life, you have work, you have patients depending on you. So it is a very, very crazy journey to do alone. People have done it alone. You can't do it alone, but I'm just saying that it will be easier if you did it with a group of people. Finally, that is the end of this video. If you guys have more questions, other things you would like for me to discuss about these exams and this timeline or this pathway, please leave it in the comment section or send me a DM, and I would be sure to include it in any of the upcoming videos. In this PLAB series, I am going to be talking in depth. I'm going to talk about the finances, I'm going to talk about the do's and don'ts, tips that helped me pass and pass well. Those are the things that I'm going to be discussing. So if you have any questions, any clarifications, any of that, just put it in the comment section or send me a DM and we would address it a bit shortly. If you know anybody who this would be beneficial for, especially medical students, please send it to them. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.